We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. Meaning excellence isn't some one-time thing I do. I'm either a person of excellence or I'm not. Excellence is a habit. It's what's coming out of me without even me thinking about it. What do you do when you don't know what to do? You do your habits.
Happy habits are as addicting as bad habits, but they're a whole lot more rewarding. There aren't the negatives that are given to bad habits. Now, bad habits take some time to develop. You don't develop them overnight. And the same thing with good habits. You don't develop them overnight. But happiness and the habits of happiness can be developed so that they become habitual in your life.
In your life, you create the atmosphere. Have you ever noticed that emotions create atmospheres? If somebody's sad, you walk into the room and you feel that sadness. If somebody, for example, is angry, if they're upset about something, without a word being said, they project from their spirit into the atmosphere of a room a negative feeling just from the anger that they possess. When you understand that, you have to ask the question, what is the atmosphere of your life?
You see, a crisis, before it creates habits, it exposes habits. Difficult times, before it defines something that you're doing, it just exposes who you already are. And the problem with difficult times is difficult times make bad habits worse. So they just get worse. It's amazing right now because so many of us, bad habits are coming out of us. I see so many bad habits in this crisis. I see myself at times being tempted to fall into bad habits. Bad habit. This is the bad habit you see right now in the world right now. Approval seekers. Listen to me. If you live for people's approval, you will die by their rejection.
And see, this is so critical because some of us don't like what we're getting in our life. And we don't like the way our relationships flow. We don't like the way our bodies look, and we don't like the way our bodies feel. And we don't like the way that we go running around from this thing to that thing, and we don't like the way that our lives are constantly feeling empty. That's the product. So if you don't like that product, you can hate the product all you want. But the problem is not the product. The problem is the pattern. I'm coming after your excuses. Because so often, we want to blame the tree for the fruit that's not there. We want to blame circumstances for the way things are. We want to blame genetics for the reason we're kind of fat. We got all these problems. All these problems. But folks, might I suggest that the problem isn't what they did to you, what they said to you, what they didn't do for you. The problem is the pattern of your response. It's the pattern. Let's change the pattern. What kind of people do you have around you? That's what creates the atmosphere of your life. Are they negative or are they positive? Are they faith-filled or are they fear-filled? Because the people around you create the atmosphere of your life.
Don't look for happiness. Create it. Happiness is not something you look for. Happiness is something you create, and it's your choice. You're as happy as you choose to be. Happiness is not a goal. Happiness is not a goal. It's actually the result of right thinking, right living, right acting. It's the byproduct. If you make happiness the goal of your life, you're going to live a very self-centered life. And that's going to end up making you miserable. Making happiness the goal of your life will guarantee that you're never going to be happy. Happiness is never the goal. It is always the result. It's always the byproduct of something else.
Sometimes, because the battle is taking longer than we thought, we become weary. When the difficulty is lasting longer than expected, we're working hard but not seeing increase, weariness will come. If the enemy can't take you out all at once, his next strategy is to try to wear you down. Many people are suffering from battle fatigue. They've been standing a long time, trying to break the addiction, believing for the promotion, but it hasn't happened yet. They never dreamed they'd still be single, still be dealing with the illness, still be trying to get the loan. Now they're tired. Don't get weary in well-doing. That means you're doing the right thing, but not seeing right results. Does it seem like it's making a difference? Let me encourage you, your time is coming. Your due season is on the way. Don't let time talk you out of it. Don't let discouragement cause you to give up. Don't let negative thoughts convince you to settle where you are.
My habits create my happiness. Happiness is a choice. We shape our habits and then they shape us. And we're going to look at this in detail in this new series, how we shape our habits and then our habits shape us. And you can create the habits of happiness in your life. Happiness based on happenings is temporary, but happiness built on habits is long-lasting. I go to Disneyland, I'm happy. I come out, realize how much money I spent, I'm not happy. I have the happiness of going to see a movie, everybody's telling me it's great, it's not so great, I come out not happy, disappointed. Anything where you base your happiness on a happening, on a circumstance, on an occasion, as soon as the occasion's over, you lose your happiness. So you don't want that. Happiness based on happenings is short-term, it's temporary. Happiness based on habits is long-term.
The key to enduring is found in what you do daily. So I suppose the simple question today is, what are you doing daily? Because whatever you do daily determines who you become permanently. That's just a word for you. You've got to understand that. We have to understand that every single day, our routine is defining the person I am becoming. If you don't like what you're getting today, then you're gonna have to do something different tomorrow than what you did today. See, you have to change your routine in order to change your life. What I'm doing daily is creating my habits.
The reason why most people don't make it, because they focus more on their distractions rather than their destiny. People that are hungry, they don't care. They're focused on what they need to do to be here. They're going to keep social distancing from not only the virus and people and social situations. They're going to limit themselves, leaving the house, leaving only when it's necessary, and social distancing from negative, toxic energy, unproductive people. You want to make it now, you want to get around the right people virtually.
You were not born to be defeated. You were not born to be depressed and discouraged permanently. You were not born to be destroyed by the things that come against your life, whether it's abuse, whether it's addiction. I'm not denying that temporarily things will seem to triumph and trample you. But I'm telling you that that is not your destiny and that is not your future, because you were born to win.
Our words are setting the direction for our lives. If you want to know what you're going to be like 5 years from now, listen to what you're saying about yourself. Well, I'll never get well. I'll never meet the right person. You are prophesying your future. You can't speak defeat and have victory. You can't speak lack and struggle and have abundance.
You can win without people. You can win without provision. You can even win without direction. But you cannot win without willpower. You need some willpower in your life. You need to get your will back. You need your drive back. You need your want to back. You need your I'm gonna do it come hell or high water. I can't be stopped because my purpose is serious. Get your will back. Everybody shout, I will cross over. I will get over that memory. I will see a victory. I will be significant. I will.
you will eat the fruit of your words. Pay attention to what you're saying about yourself, your family, your finances, your health. You're going to become what you're continually saying. That's why it's so important to get in a habit of speaking victory over your life.
There's always more inside of you than you know. You're stronger than you think that you are. And the struggle of today is producing the strength I need tomorrow. If we want to grow stronger, we have to get comfortable with exposing our weakness. Because the reality of it is the only way that I can get strong is when I get comfortable in confronting my weakness, exposing my weakness, getting vulnerable with my weakness. Going into that workout that day, I was embarrassed, I was afraid, I was concerned. I didn't think I could do it, but I actually had to come in and face the weakness inside of me that I might encounter the strength that I have yet to discover. See, strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you thought that you couldn't do.
You were born to win. And in the end, even though momentarily it will look like the dream is finished, your life is not going to be anything worth celebrating. It'll look like a troop has trampled you, we would say, in the ground. But in the end, you'll triumph. In the end, you'll win.
I'm still scared, but it doesn't have to stop me. So what I'm saying is, not that I won't feel fear, not that I won't have questions, but I won't stop. I won't stop. I won't stop. That's what I won't do. I won't stop. I won't back down. I will not give in. I will not surrender. I will not give away my joy. I will not give away my peace. It's too expensive. You can't have it. It's too valuable. It's the only treasure I've got.
Let everything you say be good and helpful so that your words will be an encouragement to those that hear them. One person that hears your words is you. They go out of your mouth and back into your own ears. If you hear them long enough, they'll take root in your spirit. You believe what you say about yourself more than what anyone else says. And there's nothing more powerful than you speaking victory over your own life.
Yes, you're going to face a lot of setbacks and a lot of hits, and I'm just telling you the truth. But let me let you know that it's not going to end with a troop trampling you down to the ground. There will be, at times, a severe struggle. But in the end, you will win. In the end, you will get back up. You were born to overcome. You were born to win.
It may not happen overnight, but you have to keep speaking victory. Keep calling yourself healthy. Keep declaring those dreams are coming to pass. Although a ship is large and driven by strong winds, it is steered by a small rudder wherever the pilot wants it to go. It's the same way with the tongue. Even though it's a small part of the body, it's steering your life. What you're saying is determining which direction you go. The good news is you have control over the rudder. You control your tongue. Are you sending your words out in the direction you want your life to go?
I think we all like to win. I'm not sure we all like the preparation that it takes to be a winner. John Wooden, my mentor, who was the incredible coach for the UCLA Bruins when they won 10 national championships, Sports Illustrated said he was the greatest coach of the last century. I asked him one day, I said, "Coach, what do you miss most about coaching?" And he said, "The practices." Isn't it interesting? I said, "You not the games?" He said, No. He said, "Our practice determined how we played the game." He said, "By the time the game day came, I just sat there on the bench with my rolled up program in my hand and kind of laid back and let my team play." He said, "We prepared for that game. We practiced for that game." He said, I miss the practices. I miss the process of doing what we needed to do so that we could get to where we needed to go."
If you believe in what you're doing, that's fuel. It adds more fuel to your fire. You gotta keep going, you gotta keep pushing through, you gotta keep persevering, because at the end of the day, when you do, and you do, and you do more, you will be amazed at how the universe conspires to help you get to the place that you wanted to get to. So believe in you, block out the shade, and let your sun shine on through, because it's on you to be you. Some of y'all are way too old to be acting brand new.
And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what an incredible formula for winning. What an incredible formula for success. Anybody can be good once in a while. You got to really practice if you want to win all the time. John Wooden knew that practice was the key to winning.
And that's the mindset that each and every one you have to have when you're trying to do something. I don't care if it's friends, family, I don't care what it is, business, on your job. You have to believe you can get the promotion. You have to believe you can get the right soulmate. You have to believe that your job can go to another level. Your business can go to another level. Because you think you can't, but I'm telling you to your face, yes, you can too. You got the power to make them doubters and haters all now believe in you.
Tell me one thing in your life that is great that came as a result of being comfortable. Because everywhere I look and everywhere I see in today's society, everybody's doing everything they can to be more comfortable. They're looking for the more convenience. They're looking for the quicker. They're looking for the faster. See, there's opportunity in that for those of you that want to get better. Because I'm going to tell you right now, all the reasons that these successful people that you look up to, that you aspire to be like, are the way they are, have all come from a place of being uncomfortable.
We do not retreat. We do not give up. We do not surrender. And the reason why most of you are not successful is because every single time stuff not going your way, you give up, you quit, you let go, and people feel weakness. They feel it. You can feel when somebody's not committed.
Understand that when you're trying to avoid the pain, when you're trying to avoid the struggle, when you're trying to avoid the hard things, you are actively choosing to be average. You are actively choosing to be mediocre. And you are actively choosing to move further away from what you want in life.
When they're not all in, when they're not dedicated, and there's another level you get to when you go all in. Look at your belief system every single day and stick with it. Don't rush the process, trust the process. Don't rush the process, trust the process.
You guys have got to believe in yourself. Headstrong, mentally tough. That's the only way through the bullshit here in life. Winners, the difference between them and the spectators is the winners have a belief that overrides the crowd's disbelief every single time. There's no excuse for not being the hardest worker. Yeah, someone might be bigger, stronger, faster, quicker, younger, whatever else, but there is no excuse to not be the hardest fucking worker there.
Because that hardship and that pain and that struggle, they give you the skills that will forge you into a motherfucking champion.
No longer are we going to accept rhymes and society's rhyme the reason that we are average. Average is a weak mentality. We must believe it so much so that we're arrogant about it. We must be pissed off for excellence.
The easy route never pays well. The only route in life that pays well is the hard route.
You work it out, you want to die. Feel it happening in you. Feel the pain happening in your legs as you rep out one more squat. Because it'll be all the more pleasurable when you reach the inevitable other end of the spectrum where you're laying in your hammock, sipping on a protein shake. Boy, I really went hard. I really went hard on that set. I really went hard in school. I really went hard in my career. I really went hard in life. Go hard!
Hi, welcome back to Mind Control, where we inspire and motivate you. Hope you enjoy the video.
Are there any responsible people left in the world today? Who take on responsibility, people who feel responsible, people who have the responsibility to the point that you're looking back and you're checking around. What are you doing? Where are you doing? Who are you talking to? What's going on in your life? Responsible people will get on your nerves. Oh yes, Responsible people will hold you accountable. Responsible people will ask you questions. You don't get to grunt at me and go to your room. I want to know what's going on. Responsibility. Don't have nothing you're not going to take care of. Don't have anything that you're not willing to invest in. Don't have anything that you're not going to focus on, because you are accountable for whatever God has given you. You're accountable for it. Stop asking God for stuff you're not going to take care of. You don't need a house, you don't need a car, you don't need a child, you don't need a man, you don't need a woman, you don't need anything that you're not going to take care of. Everything you bring into your life requires something of your life. You say you don't have time to raise no man, and I don't have no time to be raising no woman. Then don't get one. Don't get one. I don't have time for these children. Don't have one. I don't want to change the oil in the car. Don't buy one. I don't want to change the tires. Don't have a car. Everything you have requires something of you. What you have with you is more important than where you're going. I understand you got goals. I understand you got plans for 2021. I understand you got strategies. I understand you got purpose. I understand you got vision. But what you have with you is better and more important than where you are going. And if you lose what you got going after what you want, I said, if you lose what you got going after what you want, your feast is going to turn into a disaster. What good is it to have a feast if it costs what I got going after what I want? That's what's wrong with us. Too many unscrupulous people are willing to sacrifice what you have to get what you want. The Bible says it this way: what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
Don't compromise, don't sell out. There were some things I went for back in those early years that I paid too big a price for. If I'd have known how much it was going to cost me, I never would have paid, but I didn't know. Don't sell out. Ancient phrase says, count costs, count costs. An ancient story says, Judas got the money. You say, well, that's a success story. No. It's true, 30 pieces of silver in those days was a sizable fortune. You say, well, if a guy's got a fortune, right, that's a success story. No, you don't understand. His name was Judas. Doesn't that ring a bell? Judas. You say, oh, yes, Judas, the traitor. That's right. The traitor got the money. Doesn't that change the story? And the answer is, of course, it changes the story. Interestingly enough, after Judas gets the money from becoming a traitor, he's got the money in his hot little hand, and now he's unhappy. Somebody says, well, if you had a fortune, how could you be unhappy? Well, he wasn't unhappy with the money. He was unhappy with himself. Key phrase: the greatest source of unhappiness is self-unhappiness. The greatest source of unhappiness doesn't come from outside. The greatest source of unhappiness comes from inside. And here's where the erosion starts, doing a little less than you could. So don't let that happen. Judas is unhappy. He says, what'll I do? He says, oh, I'll just take the money back. Walked in where he got the money and said, here, take this money, I'm unhappy. They said, heck with you, Judas, we got what we wanted, you got what you wanted, out. They threw him out with his money. Judas says, well, what'll I do now? He says, oh, clever, should have thought of this first. I'll just throw the money away. And he proceeded to throw his fortune away. Why would he throw his fortune away? He was so unhappy with himself. That's not even the end of the scenario. After he threw his fortune away, he couldn't change what he became, a traitor. And now, in total abject frustration, he goes out and hangs his worthless self, which all traitors should do, save the state money. Why such a tragic end? Because he was so unhappy with himself. He sold out. He paid too big a price. Ancient script sums it all up. It said, what if you gained the whole world and it cost you your soul? Too big a price to pay if you got the whole world. Don't sell out. Don't compromise your values. Don't compromise your virtues. Don't compromise your philosophy. Here's the key word, beware. If Judas could speak back, he'd probably say, beware. Beware. Don't sell out. Mark well what you become in pursuit of what you want. But I'm inspiring you, hopefully, to set the kind of goals that will transform your life. Make you far better than you are, far stronger than you are.
What does it mean for you to advance economically if you lose your soul? What does it mean for you to end up running the business if you lose your soul? What does it mean to have a bigger house if you lose your soul? What does it mean to collect more degrees if you lose your soul? I want you to value what you have, not just what you're going to. But we have an age of people that have no appreciation for what they have. They're so excited about where they're going that they have lost sight of what they have. They fall into the fallacy of failure of reasoning, which makes an argument invalid. They had a failure of reasoning, that this is more important than that. Somebody is wrestling with a decision. And the Lord sent me here to tell you that this is more important than that. What you got right now is better than anything you're trying to go after in your life. It may not look good right now. It may not seem valuable right now. It may seem unimportant right now. It may not seem consequential. It may not seem relevant. It may not seem majestic. It may not seem central to what you're trying to create in your life. But give it some time. What has God placed inside of you that you don't think is particularly important because you have evaluated it premature and created a fallacy? Because what God has given you needs time to grow up. It needs time to grow up. Despise not the day of small beginnings. But it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. What God has given you is going to grow. It's going to grow, not just to bless you, but to bless you and your children and your children's children and your children's children's children. I heard somebody in the spirit say, it's too late for me, I'm too old. Baby girl, it ain't about you. What God has for you is going to affect generation after generation after generation after generation. So endure whatever you got to endure. Endure. I spent 10 years of my life driving over an hour back and forth to pastor 20 people, 10 people for 10 years, an entire decade. Nobody called me to be on CNN or CBN or TVN or NNN or ANN or nothing. 10 years! For 10 years, I scuffled, struggled, and it would have been easy to throw up my hands and say, this doesn't work. What have you got that's going to be amazing? But you're trying to rush the process, and you don't understand that God had a plan for your life, and it may have even included you going through a period of abandonment to create a thirst in you for God in a way that you would not otherwise have that thirst for Him. You have to be able to translate the bad into good, the oil into fire, the pain into purpose. You have to be able to translate it, but some people get stuck in the pain of it and they never get to the power and the purpose of it, and they can't translate it.
We'd like to thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Please also like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and families. Please watch our other motivational videos. Thank you again.
If your parents, if the people around you said all the things you thought they should have, if they had just not been toxic, if they'd encouraged you, you wouldn't have any muscle. And right now you don't have any muscle because you're using that as an excuse, if you're thinking that. And I'm not attacking you, brothers and sisters. I'm calling to you because I know you're more. Otherwise, I'd just keep my mouth shut. You've been hypnotized by a culture of weakness. Now, having said that, I'll say one last thing. I know you haven't got other questions. It's so important what you asked. Yes, there are people that you don't want to hang out with that will not serve you. But then move on. Don't sit there and talk about it constantly. Don't waste your time. And you say, but what if it's family, Tony? Mine was family too. And you learn to grow. You go, they're in my life. If someone can get your goat, if someone can piss you off, if someone can make you feel less than, that's God coming to you saying, grow. You need some spiritual growth. There's got to be some change in your perception, your belief, your emotions, your spiritual look of life. So that can't happen anymore. And when it happens, like at 61, I've been through so many of those things. And I like to do things in mass. I took on big challenges, so I'd have to grow more. But then life throws them at you too. When they come, you just go, okay, it's going to have me until I grow. What needs a shift in me so that it no longer has an impact? But you know, Jim Rohn used to say, my original teacher, he used to say, Tony, what happens if I've got a cup of coffee here? And he'd say, what if your worst enemy drops sugar in your coffee? What's going to happen? And I go, well, you'd have sweet coffee. And he goes, what if your best friend, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your loved one drops one drop of strychnine? I said, you'd be dead. He goes, that's right. Life is both sugar and strychnine, so watch your coffee. His whole thing was stand guard at the door of your brain. But some people take that and go, oh my God, you can kill me. It was a metaphor. These people are not so toxic. They're toxic because you give them energy. So if your mom's crazy and constantly criticizing you and it drives you nuts, just go, that's my mom. That's her way of showing love. And I find a new perspective. And no matter what she does, just stay in a beautiful state and love on her and think, boy, think of all that she cares and feels for, all that she's frustrated in life, or all that she's going through that's made her this way. And think, I don't have to go through this. I can love her. It's like your growth is the only limit to your happiness. If you're not happy, you're not growing in some area. And usually it's a place where you're blaming, you're pointing the finger. I don't care if it's government. Don't get me wrong. People can be unfair, unjust. That's for sure happens. But you can't control that. You can't make it not happen. What you have to do is become stronger than any of it so you're free. Freedom comes from growth. Freedom does not come from control. Because control is an illusion. You can't control everybody. No matter how hard you try, you can't control what they think or feel. And not everybody's going to be fair and just. And you, my dear friends, and I have not always been fair and just. Whether we admit it or not, it's just the nature of being, a human being. But we can make the largest pattern fair and just and loving and powerful and serving and growing until it becomes the dominant thing inside you. And then you experience life as being great, not you're great. Life's great because you're living a great path.
My great fear around the world is how many people here are not playing for themselves. They're playing for their parents. They're playing for their friends. The things they buy, the things they start, the way they live are predicated on other people's opinions, not themselves. And so I'm not coming here to start with a buzzkill, but I also do not want to be delusional to the reality of the situation. Everybody now is pandering to venture capital or to raising capital, not to actually building a business. Every day. Thank you. It's important. And thank you so much for jumping on that. It's important because let me tell you why in 2006, 7, 8, 9, I was taking all of my money and investing in Tumblr and Facebook and Twitter and Uber and all these things that I did very well with, and why over the last 4 years I've invested very little, very carefully, because there's a disconnect right now and there's illusions of the reality. If you stand here or sit here today and there is nothing that you could think about other than building a business, because the process of building a business is your happiness, not what a successful business allows you to buy, well, then you're a purebred entrepreneur. Somebody asked me today in an interview, what do I do with my downtime? I told them that I start other businesses. It's all I know. It's who I am. It's the same way when I see a teacher or an artist or anybody, when I can see through their soul that they were meant to cook or paint or build or whatever it may be, I get such happiness. It's the same reason that people that I went to school with who make $53,000 a year, but I know they're so happy because it's what they want.
Most people are anticipating the day they'll be happy. Oh, if I do this, that, and the other thing. It's a horrible habit. Horrible. Focus on, are you momentary happiness? Now, there's two types of happiness. This is a long conversation. You don't only want momentary happiness. You sometimes have to postpone present pleasure as an investor to get something back later. I understand that. But there's also the other end of the spectrum, that if you're not liking most of your life, make some big changes. If you like most of your life, but there's a few little things, then you make little changes. People always ask me, how do you know? Simple. If everything's fucked, then you have to make huge changes. Usually. There's exceptions. If everything's pretty good, just one thing gets on your nerves, you probably just got to change one, maybe two things. But get to that place where depression's diminishing, even if you have to do something dramatic, even if you have to quit a job, even if you have to move out from somebody you're living with, even if you have to spend less time with a family member, or you can't sacrifice your happiness overall unless you're investing. So let's say, for example, you go to the gym and you're not that happy to be lifting weights because it hurts. Well, that's temporary pleasure that has a payoff very quickly, and your body gets healthier. That kind of pain you can keep around because there's a gain to it. There's the pain and then the gain. But a lot of us, and I've done this before, you get to a place where there's pain, but there's no gain. It's just pure pain.
Kobe Inc. and this venture capital firm are a lot to take on. Other things. It seems like kind of each of your vehicles maybe has a specific purpose. Are there other areas and things that you're looking at and want to pursue?
Well, no, it's pacing, right? Because there's certain things that we want to get to, but we have to pace those out because we have to have absolute focus on a few of those things, right? Brian Steibel Fund and the stories that we are creating. Right? I mean, those are our two lenses right now. There are other things that are going to come, but that's way down the road. We have to have a very, very sharp lens because we can do so many things. I mean, that's the hardest part. Right. When we first started, is you have so many people coming from different angles and different points of view, and you can do this, you can do that, and a lot of them are very lucrative offers. They're small window opportunities, and the hardest part's been pushing those to the side and going for things that have a much, much longer tail, which is risky, but what are you gonna do? I think that's the best way to go about it.
When you look inside your brain, inside your skull, and you see a brain, that's also just a data structure that you're creating. Neurons are just data structures. They don't exist, and this is the weird stuff. I don't have a brain when no one looks, and some of my colleagues would say, yeah, I agree with that. You don't have a brain. But the point of this is that we create any physical object that we see in the moment that we see it. And so neurons don't exist when they're not perceived. Therefore, neurons could not be the source of our conscious experiences. In fact, space-time itself is just your data structure. So the idea that space-time exists and has existed for 14 billion years as a pre-existing stage in which the drama of life plays out is also deeply wrong. Space-time itself is just a data structure that we create. So what is reality? It's a long answer to your question, but the answer is I don't know, but I'm trying to come up with a reality that would allow me to solve this hard problem of consciousness. So if the brain is just a symbol that we create when we look, and I'm trying to understand how consciousness is related to it, if I start with a theory in which consciousness is fundamental, and I have to do it scientifically, say, what do I mean precisely by consciousness with mathematical precision? And I have this theory that I call conscious agents, in which conscious agents interact. It's like the proposal is that reality is a vast social network. It's like a Twitterverse or Facebook. It's a big social network of conscious agents. That's the reality. They're not in space and time. They're just consciousnesses interacting with each other. As they interact, they are passing experiences back and forth. And it's an infinite Twitterverse, an infinite set of consciousnesses out there in this big social universe, social network universe. And any single conscious agent in that network would be overwhelmed trying to understand all of it. Like if you were trying to understand Twitter, there's tens of millions, hundreds of millions of users, billions of tweets. How are you going to try to understand what's going on in the Twitterverse? Well, you can't. But what you can do is you can use visualization tools. Suppose I have a visualization tool that compresses it all down, shows you what's trending in this city and what's trending over there. So you compress it all down, maybe into something that you can see through a headset, so that you can actually, well, here's the Twitterverse in London, here's the Twitterverse in Edinburgh, and so forth, and here's what's going on, here's what's trending. Then you can sort of visualize it. That's what evolution did for us. The reality is this big, vast social network of interacting conscious agents. Each individual agent would be overwhelmed because it's infinite social network. And so what we call the physical world just is our visualization tool. That's what we have. So we've mistaken, so this is all a big visualization tool. Space-time and physical objects are the way we visualize our interaction with this vast universe of social network universe.
If I died today, would I regret not going after this fear? Would I regret that I didn't share this with my girlfriend, my husband, my wife, my kids, that I didn't go back to school, that I didn't write the book, launch the podcast, whatever it is, would I regret it? And for me, I just never want to regret. So I'm like, okay, I've now found a process. I've hired someone to do 3 days a week. I'm fitting it in my calendar. This is a priority every day. And it sucks right now because I feel like I'm not learning I can't speak still, but it's like, it's gonna take years. And I just need to trust the process and appreciate all the little wins. And don't try to be fluent right away. Just be like, okay, I know a couple more words today. And that's what I think, if people could do that, their life would be that much more magical if you wrote down your biggest fears and you started tackling them every year.
Disconnected. That relationship that you are in right now may not be working out.
You stick and move and you jab at it. And on the rare occasion that you take a punch from life.
And most of it on these phones, Instagramming back and forth, whatever you call it, tweeting and texting. You waste so much time on our little gadgets.
The greatest, believe that you really believe. Some people may not have that opportunity to believe in themselves. Because all their lives, many things has kept them down. Music. The greatest I am the greatest of who you really are. You really know who you are. Can you identify yourself? Do you see yourself less? Or do you see yourself?
But that doesn't mean that you can't get out and resonate yourself. Get your mind and your body in the right place. Work on you. Don't try to fix others. Focus on your opportunities. Focus on who you are as an individual. You can't save the world, but you can definitely make a difference. Well, make sure you make the difference within you. Because as long as you are leading the path, the right ones will walk with you. They will follow you. They will stand with you. They will break bread with you. So you must continue to believe.
And it knocks you down. You dig deep, and then you dig deep, and then you dig even deeper, because you understand that this is the moment to pick yourself up, push through with determination and grit, because of all your resilience, commitment, hard work, perseverance. You have now put yourself in position to show the world that you got that dog, and your inner dog has no quit. I said this is the moment to pick yourself up and push through with determination and grit, because of all your resiliency, commitment, hard work, perseverance. You have put yourself in a position to show the world that you got that dog, and your inner dog has no quit.
You must continue to understand that on this day, on this hour, this is your day, and your time is now. Hold on tight and don't let go. Focus on what is necessary and disconnect yourself from the things that are not necessary. If you're feeling like you're going down, open up your heart and open up your mind and look up. Carry on and believe in it. For each and every day of your life is a blessing. A blessing to breathe. A blessing to walk. A blessing to do what is necessary to continue the life. And not holding on to things that's not going to get you to the level in life you want to be.
More do you ultimately believe? You, or do you let others control what you are and what they think? This is not the time to look down on yourself. This is the time for you to look up to see the greatest, to see the greatness. Within you, your creation, as meaning something. Great brought you here. There was a purpose. There's a purpose now. And that purpose is great.
It's unreal. And we tell them we have no time. If you really you have to take your day and write down this one day. Everything you do, write that down. And you're like, my God, I am wasting so much time on frivolous bullshit. It's not even funny. I mean, it will, if it doesn't infuriate you, it should. Because there's so much time. I can't get it in. Look at your schedule. You just wasted 7 hours today on bullshit. I mean, and you don't have an hour a day to try to get something in for yourself.
What are you going to do to get better today? Today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, when you think you're going to have plenty of time to do what you want. Get your priorities straight. That's not going to happen. And it's definitely not going to happen if you don't start putting in the work today.
When I went in the trainer's room, my kids are in there, and they're looking at you and stuff, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, it's all right, Dad's gonna be all right. As a parent, you gotta set the example. You gotta set the example. This is another obstacle. This obstacle cannot define me. It's not gonna cripple me. It's not gonna be responsible for me stepping away for the game that I love. I'm gonna step away on my own terms. And that's when the decision was made that, you know what, I'm doing it. Yeah, you gotta lead by example. As parents, you gotta lead by example. You want your kids to do whatever it is they want to accomplish in life, you have to show them.
You do the work, you work hard enough, dreams come true. You know that, we all know that. But hopefully what you get from tonight is the understanding that those times when you get up early and you work hard, those times when you stay up late and you work hard, those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway.
Nobody's gonna lift the weights for you. Nobody's going to do the pull-ups for you. Nobody's going to go out and put in the road work for you. You got to do all that yourself. Quit waiting for the perfect time. Quit waiting for the perfect situation to occur. It's not going to happen. You want to know when the time is right? The time is right now. So what are you doing with your time? Are you doing something productive? Are you moving towards a goal? Making yourself better? Or are you letting time slip by? Wasting. Stop wasting time. Get after it.
What the hell were you all waiting for to start attacking life? Waiting for the fight. Back when I was growing up, the song came out. All I need is a miracle. Well, guess what? That miracle ain't coming.
You exist in it. Greatness is within you. Greatness is a part of you. But to be great, you've got to believe in it. Since the day you were born, greatness was already there when you had those hard times. Greatness was already there when nobody thought that you had what it took. Greatness existed. Hold on to that greatness, believe in that greatness, and give it everything you have within yourself. How many times have you said, I know I need to do better?
That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey. And if you guys can understand that, then what you'll see happen is that you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will.
I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. I think that's what greatness is or should be. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person, and then inspire another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
What can I say? Mamba out.
You don't know how many times have you gotten on a scale and weighed yourself, but you wasn't happy. How many times have you pulled up those pans and it just didn't fit right? How many times have you said you could not stop eating a certain type of a food, but you kept doing it anyway? You see, my friends, that's an excuse you're looking for a way out. You're trying to find an idea and saying, hey, it's okay for me to keep making this type of a mistake. It's okay for me to keep saying the same thing over and over.